All right, this is another Trike in process video. I thought I'd do this and give everyone an idea how in the world I bent all this tubing on this motorcycle. A lot of bends. Let's just say it was a mind bender, and I screwed around a lot, wasted a lot of junk tubing figuring it out. But anyway, I did traded some labor, got this old green Lee bender off an electrician friend of mine, good friend. Leaked like a sieve. Every bend took about a cup of oil. But it only cost about $5 for the O-rings, cleaned it up, painted it. And I tried to lay it on a bench and do the bends, try to hold everything. That wasn't working. So I cut these 4 straps, 1/8 inch, out of 1/8 inch plate, and I hang it from my cherry picker. I got a little level on it. Just set it up there so that I know she's pretty much straight up and down. Moves around a little bit, but it works. I had to buy an aftermarket bender shoe, die in the shoe. I got it at Summit. They were actually cheaper than the company that made them on their website. Had to modify it a little bit. Had to mill a 1/4 inch off of it. And it didn't come with the little piece to hold onto the tubing, so I made that. They wanted like $80 for that. So anyway, I'm making handlebars. And I've kind of figured out the angles. Bent some just electrical tubing as a test subject. So anyway, I'm going to get this set up in the bender and show you how I do it. So I'm going to stop the video and then start it again and try to hook them together, I guess, before I put them on YouTube. So you don't see how much struggle it is to get everything perfect. But so the next video will be that. Okay, this is the second part of this video. I want to show you a couple little products here that made it all possible, basically. These are little digital protractors. You can actually read them from a distance, and they measure in 1/10. Got them at the woodworker's shop. They use them there. I think they're about $40 a piece. And if you're going to try to bend tubing and repeat the process, you can't do it without it. You can't do it with a little protractor you can buy at Sears. It won't work. So I got one on the length running parallel to the pipe, and when I bend it, as I bend the pipe, I'll put it on the other side and read my degrees. And then to do a rotation or a roll in the pipe, left or right, because sometimes you have to make a bend, roll it so many degrees left or right, make another bend, roll it so many degrees. Really, you're better off thinking clockwise or counterclockwise. But anyway, that one there is 90 degrees to the pipe. I need to zero it one more time. When you're using that one, pardon the camera, it's a little more important to have this little one here, this little level, to make sure this guy is still hanging plumb. So anyway, I'm going to set the camera down, try to make a bend. I'm looking for 34 degrees on this first bend. Now you'll notice down there it went about 1/10 of a degree, but you'd be surprised how little it takes to change that. It's almost hard to get it to stay on 0. So anyway, let's try to make the first bend. Now this is 095 wall mild steel tubing, and I hope this camera kind of catches everything, and we'll give it a shot. Now I found usually you got to go about 2 degrees past. Right there is 33.9. Let's see what it is back here. Yep, still 0. So I'm 33.9. I was shooting for 34. But I assure you, when I let off, and it's actually reading 34 now. When I let off, probably go to about 31. Actually 31.9, so I'm about 2 degrees shy. So we're going to try to go to about, let's run it to 35. And this is something you just have to sneak up on. A lot of this stuff, if you're off 1/10 of a degree or a couple tenths of it, really probably won't matter. There's 34. Oh, went to 35.6, 7. Let's let off, see what happens here. And 33.6, 7, something of that nature. So we want to go just at least a little bit. This is where it gets a little dicey. Sometimes I just bump it on my leg. We're going to go to about 35.7 if we can. There's 35.7, let's 35.8. Let's see what it comes back to. 33.8, so I only moved it about 1/10 of a degree. Let's try 35. Let's see, 35.8. Let's try 36. Yeah, there's 36 and a 0.2 according to this. 34.2. Let's see if we're still 0 on the other side. Sometimes that'll change on you a little bit. All right, we're 0. I'm 34.2. So we passed it by 2/10 of a degree. On that shorter bend, it probably won't make much difference. So I'm going to turn the camera off, set it up again, and continue on. Okay, this was the third video. Got my marks on my tubing, and I got the die. I don't know if you can see that in there, but I've got a mark in there. It's lined up right at the shoe or the die, or whatever you want to call it. Lined up right there. And forgot to mention, this is 095 mild steel tube, seamless, finished, cold drawn. Fairly pricey, so you want to make your bends on a piece of crap. And I've got my little level on the press, on the ram, still perpendicular there, still plumb. And then I was shooting for 40 degrees. I'd probably take plus or minus. Right now it's 40. It'll move around a little bit while we're bending. But basically I rolled it 40 degrees clockwise. Then the other side, I'll measure it 40 degrees counterclockwise. So due to my imprecise calculations, I'm shooting for 33 degrees on this piece of tubing. And then that'll be it. I'll trim it off, and that'll be one side of my bars the way the bike is made. And that should do it. So we'll see. 33 now, so we're going to go to 30, just 35 on this one. Try 35, see what it does. 35.3. All right, we did pretty good. All right, look at there, 33, yep, 33. So that's it. That's the bend. I'm going to trim it off, and we'll kind of take it over the bike, see how it sets. Okay, this was the final bit here, I guess, on this bendings of my bars. These old bars here are just a piece of scrap pipe. I made these two risers. Lucked out and found this stuff in a scrapyard. 1.25 inch with 1/8 wall. Exactly 1 inch OD, so I'm just going to trim them off. Slide these bar halves. I'm going to tie them together and then position these and weld them, or I may even clamp them. I don't know, make them adjustable. But anyway, here's my bends. That's 40 degrees. Roll, like we went clockwise. And it looks like it's going to, let me back up here, I wasn't paying attention to the camera, but it looks like it's going to work once I get this other setup cut off of here and get it trimmed out and cleaned up. So that's it. That's basically the procedure I used to build the whole bike. Did a lot of mocking up, bought a lot of junk, rusty old tubing at the scrapyard, and bent it, and made some points that the tubing had to show up at. One thing it helps is to know how tight a bend you can make. You don't want to position something to where you tighter bend than you can make with your bender. So maybe this will help some other people. It took me a long time to kind of figure out how to do it, and you know, it just was a lot of work, a lot of trial and error. I think I blasted through about 400 feet of old scrap tubing. Luckily, I was getting it for next to nothing. So when I bought the money tubing, you know, I wanted to have it down pretty good, and you would want to too. All right, that's it.